Who runs the world? Trauma. I think that song should change. But sorry, it's not funny. It really isn't. I have never felt so out of control. Yeesh.
Sometimes I'm mystery, sometimes I'm free, depending on my mood or my attitude. Sometimes I wanna roll or stay at home, walking contradiction.
Hi guys, welcome back to my space. If you're new here, my name is Jules and I'm the dancing advocate. So first of all, I would love to thank you guys on the feedback on my previous video. I loved interacting with some of you on the different traumatic experiences that you've had, how it has affected your life and your lives rather, and how you're healing from the pain and the hurt and the different emotions that those traumatic experiences brought in you. So I am grateful for that, and I am that's the one thing that keeps me motivated, that keeps me wanting to have these conversations, and I'm just glad that the conversations are kept going. Yeah. So I have to admit that I got a bit emotional, especially when I was just doing a recap on the previous video and trying to figure out what I want to talk about this week. And yeah, it was a lot. It was a heavy topic in the sense that I had to dig up things and emotions and feelings that I never thought I would have to, and sit down and actually think about certain things that happened to me in the past, whether it was with regard to rejection or any other sort of traumatic experience that I've been through. So yeah, it was a lot. It got me hella emotional, but I mean, I guess it's part of the process, part of the journey to get to healing, or to get to a point where you're not bitter and you're not feeling like um, a traumatic experience has taken over your life. Yeah. So today I'd like us to speak about letting go, and that in the sense of letting go of the pain, letting go of the disappointment, letting go of what you thought was an idea that you had of certain circumstances, just letting go of all that to the point where you feel like you are going through a healing process or you have completely healed. Yeah. Today, I'd like to begin with two quotes. You may have had them probably in different words, but these are quotes or sayings or just wordings, a jumble of words that have helped me in this journey and have spoken to me. And so the first one is you can't let how you were raised dictate how you live your life. All right? You can't let how you were raised dictate how you live your life. Right? That's the first one. They're somewhat similar, but they do have different, deeper meanings. All right? The second one, how you respond to things that you cannot control determines how you live the rest of your life. How you respond to things that you cannot control determines how you live the rest of your life. So, having said that, the reason I began my journey, or this journey to emotional well being, was so that I can let go of traumatic experiences, let go of negativity, let go of toxicity, and so that I do not carry that with me to new relationships, whether it's romantically, friendship wise, or even family. Yeah. I would not want to carry that baggage with me from one part of my life or one phase of my life to the next. And that is the major reason why I began this journey, and the major reason why I began this series on here. Yeah, from last year, I've been having people here and talking about different experiences and how people deal with traumatic experiences or baggage from one point of their life to another, and how in all of it we've just been advocating for us as human beings to learn to work on one part of your life before you move to the next part of your life, right? With traumatic experiences, it's usually very difficult to do that because as human beings, we tend to hold on to negative memories, to bad experiences. And this now got me like doing a little research or just looking into the reasons as to why, as human beings, we tend to hold on to bad memories, hold on to bad experiences, hold on to bad things. We remember those more than the positive and the good experiences that we have. It's easier for you as a human being to remember an abusive relationship, an abusive parent, a traumatic experience more than you will uh, remembering how you learned the first time, how you felt the first time you learned how to ride a bike, or the first time you had an ice cream cone. Like it's most times you be like this is a bad experience. It's like it holds more weight, yeah. So it's heavier and it's just a lot. And so for me, I sort of like I went into it a little bit deeper, and for me now, in my own words, the reason as to why we hold on to bad experiences and all that is because it takes more of everything. It will take more brain power, more emotional power, it will take more expression, it will take more energy, and it will take more time to let go of more of a bad experience than a good one. That's just basically it. It takes more of you to dwell, to live through, to let go of a bad experience more than a good one. So the reason as to why we hold on to them is just because it takes more. It takes more. That's just it. It takes more. And I think the point you realize that is when you will now try and learn to unlearn that. I don't know if I'm making sense. You will try and figure out, okay, so if having to dwell on this experience will make it harder for me to let go of it, then I might as well not dwell on it so that it is easier to let go of it. In my previous video, I talked about how we need to deal with traumatic experiences as they come. So this is just simply it, yeah? Something bad has happened to you, you've had your heart broken. How are you going to deal with it? Is it something painful? Yes. Is it something, do you have control over it? Probably not. If you do, fine, do something about it. If you don't, see how you can heal from it and then move on and let it go, yeah? So the reason why I began with those two quotes was because they are sort of the basis of all this, and mainly because I want us to move away from letting how we were raised dictate, yeah? I feel like it's more of a societal reaction. It's a societal thing because so and so was raised the way they were raised, and most times you hear we only talk about Bayake. That one, the way she is or the way he is, it's just because of his parents or her parents, or it's because of her family, it's because of the things she or he went through when they were younger. Um, it could be kinda, sort of, an excuse to now live our lives the way we live our lives, but I would want us to move in the opposite direction, and that is why I would want to talk about it today, because I feel like we hold on so much onto things that were critical in our childhood, things that were critical in our teenagehood, to the point that we forget to live in the now. We forget to enjoy what we have right now. You may be have come from an abusive relationship, maybe from your parents or from a recent partner, but you hold on so much onto that that you forget to enjoy the fact that you're alive. You forget to enjoy the fact that you may have become, or rather, you may have moved into a better relationship. You may have started dating someone who is amazing to you, or you may have gotten an amazing job, and you hold on, you're so lost and so caught up in your past that you don't realize the good things that are happening to you at that moment in time. And like I said, the reason why I began my series was just so that I don't carry that baggage from one point of my life to another, so that it doesn't hold me hostage. Because I feel like most times as human beings, we are held hostage by our past, we're held hostage by things that happened to us, to the point that when something good is right in front of you, be it a relationship, be it a job, be it life in general, you don't realize, you don't recognize it, because you're so used to the toxicity, you're so used to the pain, you're so used to the heartache, that when it's good, you just like the first reaction is to question, why is it like, is it really for me? Why is it so good? Can it really be for me? And that is the one thing that I would wish for every human being on earth to let go of. Yeah. I mean, as always, like I always say, it's easier said than done. All these things, all these processes that we go through are easier said than done. Really, though? All this working from home. Yes, all these processes, all these things that we go through are easier said than done. Yeah. So the first thing would be, from my first quote, letting go of the fact that you were raised in a certain way. It does not have to mean that you will grow up or you will be a certain way as an adult. It doesn't mean that because you came from an abusive relationship 5 years ago or 10 years ago, doesn't mean that 5 years from now you can't be happy with in a marriage with children, or just happy on your own, or happy with life in general. That's the one thing that I wish we could learn to do. I am in the process of doing that, just sitting and being like, okay, so this and this happened to me, fine. Can I do something about it right now? No. Can I? Yes. And now that brings me now to the second quote, which is things we can and cannot control. It's so easy to be happy and at peace with things that you can control. You'll be like, oh, you know what? Today morning I'm going to have eggs for breakfast. That is something you can control. But you wake up and there are no eggs. You figure out, okay, I can go to the supermarket. Fine, you go to the supermarket, buy your eggs, come back. So there's the fact that, hey, yo, you want eggs for breakfast, but you ain't got the money. There are no eggs in the house. There's Corona. All the shops are closed. You're in lockdown. And you cannot control it. Yeah. And that now just determines how you live your life, because you hold on to the fact that, okay, I can't control my emotions. I cannot control bad things happening to me. Um, I cannot control traumatic experiences. But what is your reaction to that? Are you going to let that be your story? Are you going to let that be, okay, so because I cannot control traumatic experiences, I'm going to hold on to them. I'm going to let them dictate my life. I'm going to let them determine how I live my life. I mean, it's easy for that to happen because, yo, it's I feel like it's a human reaction. It's how we react to life. Generally, you're like, hey yo, I can't control this, so I will think about it. I will dwell on it. I will constantly be like, this is the one thing that I cannot control. It's so easy to do that than to actually let go of something that you cannot control. It's way easier to be like, yeah, you know what, let's just dwell, let's not be at peace, let's be anxious, let's be all the bad things, all the bad emotions and all the pain and anger on this thing that you cannot control. So for me, having put those two quotes together, I think I would want us to start on a journey together, right? um, Write down things that you feel like you've not been able to let go of for a while. And it could be something that happened when you were a kid, it could be something recent, it could be something that you just can't stop thinking about, but it's not something positive, it's not something you can control. Yeah, write that down, figure out if it's something you can do something about or if it's something that you can't do something about. And then from there, now figure out what you want to do with that information. And let it be something positive, yeah? Let it be something that will help you grow in a positive direction. It wouldn't be something that you constantly dwell on, that will give you grief, that will give you pain. Let it be something that when you look back, you'll be like, I did that. Let it be that it's something that you are like, oh, you know what? I can't, like, I don't have control over this. So I will let it take its course. Yeah. For me as a Christian, I'd be like, you know what? I will put my faith in God and be like, you know what? He's got me. He's going to figure this thing out for me, and then I'll be out of it. Yeah. I mean, for those who believe in the power of attraction, or in all those, The Secret, or whatever you believe in, yeah. If it's faith, if it's um, trusting that you deserve something good, or trusting that something good will come out of an experience that you had, yeah, put that in mind and be like, you know what, I will just let it go and be like, wusa. And just be like, you know what, I will go with the flow, and I will let it go, and I will not let it control my life. I will not let it dictate how I live my life right now, and not let it determine the things that I do, the actions that I take, the reactions that I have, the emotions that I'm feeling. Like, don't let it have a hold over you to the point that you cannot even focus, you cannot live life properly. Yeah. So my task to you today would be for you to sit down, um, write down the one thing or the 5 things that you cannot seem to let go of, whether it's something that from when you were raised, or from your recent past, just anything. Write it down. And then the second thing, is it something in your control or out of your control? Yeah, so write it down. Whether it's a traumatic experience, whether it's a person like you can't seem to let go of. It could be a friendship, it could be a toxic person, it could be a boss, it could be a job. Write that down. Write down whether or not you have control over it. Yeah, write down what it brings out in you, what emotions, what it makes you feel, what emotions it brings out of you. Then write down how you're gonna deal with it. Yeah, these are 4 things. Write down the thing, the trait. I mean, yeah, it could be a trait as well. Yeah, the trait, the toxic person, a traumatic experience, a person, like, write it down. Secondly, is it in or out of your control? Third, how does it make you feel? What does it bring out in you? Has it brought out bad excuses? Has it brought out bad behavior? Has it brought out pain or anxiety? What does it do to you? Then lastly, how are you going to deal? How are you going to deal with it? Yeah. And then slowly start to let go of it. Because once you put all that down, you can easily now start to process, this is why, and so this is how, and then eventually this is it. You know, this is what it is, this is how it makes me feel, this is why it makes me feel the way it makes me feel, and now this is it, I am done with it. Yeah, I'm gonna let go. And of course, it may not take a day, it may not take a few hours, but it's a process. The one thing that we always need to remember is all these things are processes. It's a whole journey. It's not a light switch. You don't switch it off and on. It takes time. You need to learn to be patient with yourself. You need to learn to be patient with the people around you. But just know that eventually it's going to be good. It's going to be okay. You're going to come out of it, and you're going to probably come out of it stronger, just so that you know you deserve the good things. You deserve happiness, you deserve love, you deserve joy, you deserve peace. Most of all, you deserve peace. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't watched the previous videos, please go ahead and do that. And don't forget to live, love, and dance.